are just 3 days away into the Mario Kart World Nintendo Direct, and I'm sure we're going to get lots of new information about this game that makes it even more exciting than it is now. But there's still one huge question that I have that I see a lot of people not really talking about, and that is the food. The food is a weird new item in the game, if you would call it that, that allows you to actually get new costumes and also get a little bit of a boost in the middle of the race. But I feel like it's extremely underwhelming and doesn't really even make a lot of sense the whole time. So I want to dive into this and talk about exactly what they could be hiding with such a weird new mechanic. Before we get started, if you're excited about Mario Kart World, make sure you leave a like and subscribe because there's going to be a lot of stuff for us to talk about in the next couple of months. So make sure that you're here and also subscribe because it's a pretty new subscribe button that represents Mario Kart World. But thank you guys, and let's jump into the video. Now, one thing I noticed in the trailer is that it seemed like Nintendo was starting to go into a direction of a bunch of wacky, crazy mechanics the game has, but without going too far, it stopped rather quickly. For instance, it showed us literally driving into the back of a semi, and it looked like it was building up for some crazy things that they were about to show us. Then it shows Mario eating a burger, and then it just changes his costume. Now, this confirmed that costumes would be in the game, which is a pretty huge deal. We've always really wanted costumes in a main Mario Kart, the way Mario Kart Tour actually gave us, and I'm glad that they're here, but the way that we get them is kind of strange. The way to pick up this food is a little fast food bag by these Yoshi's Diners, and you'll see one here to the right, and that's just the thing. It's always kind of off the beaten path, so you kind of got to go off the road to grab these things. And yeah, it's kind of out of the way. All it does is give you a slight boost when you use it, and it's just a costume change. It seems like their spawns are at the beginning of those straightaway races, and sometimes they're just forced right in front of you. Like there's a row of them that you have to go through and grab, and maybe it's just forcing people to get costumes. Maybe that's literally it, but I just have to think that there's more to this, because who cares? No, but seriously, getting costumes will be fun, but it looks like there's a set number of costumes for each area in this game. So if you've gotten all the costumes in this area, what's the point of going for these bags besides getting a small little boost? I mean, you saw the boost that Mario just got, and everyone gets it since you can go through a line of these bags. What's the point? So long story short, if you have the costume already, it's not going to do anything besides give you a boost. So it's like every single racer on the map getting a mushroom at the same spot, which in turn doesn't really change anything because everyone's using that mushroom to get a little boost. So you're gonna stay probably in the same spot. Yeah, sometimes there's a couple bags on the side of the road, sometimes there's a couple bags just lined up across the road, sometimes it's at the very beginning of the race by a fast food place. It just seems like they're kind of all over the place, and it's just, once again, giving you a mushroom plus a costume. And even in the treehouse, a lot of the gameplay I've seen so far, the characters get nothing but a speed boost, because once again, like I said, they already have a costume, so you don't even see the costume thing pop up, because I think also you have to be using a character that needs a costume to get the costume. So if you're using one of the enemies, it looks like none of those enemy characters have costumes, all you're getting is a speed boost. What's the point? Something else I noticed is there seems to be different variations of the food that you get. For instance, this one rolls different types of food. In this area, you seem to have 3 different options. A regular glass bottle of milk, then you have ice cream with tons of toppings all over it, and then an ice cream with just one topping on it. So I'm wondering if they give different varying speed boosts, or is there something else to this? Same thing happens in the desert regions where you have 3 different options of this type of curry dish, where you have a 3-segmented poke with all the fixings, a 2-segmented poke with a couple fixings, and then there's just 1 segment which looks like a coconut or something, but it seems to be the least impressive dish out of the 3. So why is that the case? The same thing even works for the cheeseburger, because I thought it was the same cheeseburger, but it was moving so fast it was hard to tell. There's actually 3 different versions. The single patty with like a mushroom toothpick going through it, there's a double patty with a star toothpick going through it, and then you have a special burger, which is just like stacked super high with a checkered flag toothpick going through the top. So it's time to check to see if my theory of a longer boost is a thing. Well, the penguin here actually gets the 3rd tier food, which is the 3-stacked poke, and we can tell from this video footage that he has just over a 3-second boost. 3:15 to be exact. But Mario in this scene with the burger pulls a tier 2 food with a double cheeseburger and the star toothpick, which brings his total boost time to about 2.5 seconds, 2:36 to be exact. Getting a better tier of food seems to be a whole second faster than the 2nd tier. I don't have any gameplay of the tier 1 food being used, but I would guess probably high 1 second is what the time would be, so it does seem like you'll get a longer boost depending on which type of food that you pull from each region. But even with that said, I'm not super impressed. I mean, it is a good risk versus reward type of thing where, you know, you can chance it. If you want to go for that item off the road, you might get a tier 3 boost, or you might just get a tier 1, or you'll get a tier 2. It just kind of depends on the track and why you'd want to go for it. So maybe it has some type of competitive value to it, but personally I was still hoping that it would do maybe a little something else as well. I've said this a lot of times already, but we know Nintendo's really good at hiding major, you know, mechanics of their upcoming games. For instance, with Mario Odyssey, they completely hid the capture mechanic from us until the second trailer. And the same thing with Tears of the Kingdom, they didn't even really show us anything to do with the depths until literally a couple days before the game actually came out. They gave us a quick little look, but that was about it. And Mario Kart World does have a couple really cool things we can do now, like rail riding and wall jumping, but I wouldn't call that the main mechanic of this game. I guess if this game does have a mechanic, it's definitely the open world theme, but I feel like there's still another mechanic that they're hiding. Once again, they kind of look like they were revving up to show us what that mechanic was. They went into showing us taking over a giant semi, and then for the food transformation with Mario, just to show us costumes. So I feel like that transformation is going to do something else as well that maybe they just took out of the demos and took out of that first trailer, so we don't see what's about to happen. Now you might be wondering, okay, what type of mechanic would I want this food to actually bring to the game? Well, one thing that a lot of people have been complaining about is the long straightaway roads are kind of boring, and the fact that these food items appear only on these long straightaway roads makes me wonder if they'll actually affect the terrain or affect what's going on those roads as well. For instance, a lot of us at the very beginning thought that that food bag was going to be a wonder flower or a wonder seed in order for it to kind of change up the tracks a little bit, and that would be an awesome new mechanic. For instance, what if someone grabs the bag and it causes this giant sandmarg to spawn in front of the racers exactly when that person grabs that bag, causing it to kind of shake the ground or maybe dig in and out of the ground in front of you, just causing havoc all over the track. There's another scene they show right after this one that has a giant whale coming out of the water and splashing down, and I'm wondering if it's just like the sandmarg, where maybe if you grab one of these bags, it causes this giant whale to jump out of the water and shake it up a lot more. I mean, this completely changes the straightaways by causing a giant creature to come trampling down the center of the track. Would be really cool, and maybe it causes more waves and maybe bigger ones that you can trick off of, or maybe a huge one that can knock you out of the way, so you have to be cautious of where you're driving. This would shake up these straightaways a lot. Here's another good example of what I'm talking about. In this section, you jump on these ramps and fly over this giant whirlpool, which is just empty for some reason. Why? There has to be some type of giant creature in that water, right? Some type of giant gooper blooper or something that pops up and tries to hit you with its tentacles or something, because I just feel like that's a perfect spot for that. What if they laid out some fast food bags in order for us to get them and it actually caused a giant gooper blooper to spawn? Or maybe it's just going to spawn by itself, it's just not in this demo build. Or maybe it's for single player, some type of single player boss that we get to fight in this region. Who knows, but there has to be something there, right? But it's impossible to say what exactly the food does. Maybe it is just a speed boost and gives you costumes, or maybe it's something a lot deeper. But let me know in the comments down below what you think the food is going to be able to do in the final build of this game. Also, let me know what you expect from the Mario Kart World Nintendo Direct coming in literally just 3 days this Thursday. But thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe before you head out, and like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See you guys.